Hi there everyone, and you're very welcome to today's yoga class. My name is Deirdre Lorraine of Yo-Yo Yoga, and these classes are brought to you with Meath County Council. So let's begin. So if you want to start off, and if you have something like an eye pillow, or you could use a clean sock and a blanket for the end. So sit cross-legged and sit really tall. Bring your shoulders up towards your ears and your shoulder blades together on your back. Beautiful. And take a deep breath in and out through your mouth. Fantastic. We'll start our yoga class by listening to our yoga bell, just to quieten our mind. Fantastic. In today's class, we're going to be talking about nature in the woods. So let's begin by doing some silly ohms. And when you would go to the woods, you might hear a bird. And let's do a silly ohm bird. So breathing in. Very good. You might see an owl. Let's do an owl silly ohm. Breathe in. And our last silly ohm, you would hear the wind. Let's do a wind silly ohm. Om. Brilliant. Pop on your yoga glasses. Bring your thumb and forefinger together. Brilliant. Then bring your yoga glasses to your lap. Sit tall for a serious ohm. Breathe in. Very good. We're going to repeat these 4 words, and these 4 words help us quieten our mind. And these words are peace begins with me. You try. Very good. And while we're saying that, we're going to place our thumb and forefinger together like this. Say peace. Then middle finger and thumb begins. Then ring finger and thumb with. And then baby finger and thumb, me. Peace begins with me. Fantastic. Pop your yoga glasses onto your lap and we're going to say it together. You ready? Peace begins with me. Again. Peace begins with me. Nice and loud. Peace begins with me. Quietly. Peace begins with me. A little whisper. Now close your eyes, and this time I want you to say it in your mind. And again. Fantastic. And when you've finished, you can place your hands back on your lap, open your eyes, and do a nice morning stretch. Well done. Now, did I tell you of the forest that's nearby me? And in that forest lives a cat. Meow. And beside the cat lives a cow. Moo. Meow. The cat and the cow. Moo. Very good. And they're really good friends. And the cat and the cow sit under the elder tree together. And then they find an even taller elder tree and find some shade and relax under that tree. Very good. So when you go to the woods, you might notice things like the trees. Let's stand tall like a tree. I am strong. Very good. Other side. Stand tall. I am strong. You can repeat after me. I am strong. Very good. And on those trees are branches. So let's let our branches float out. I am breezy. So you can let your branches blow in the breeze. Other side. You can repeat after me. I am breezy. Very good. And lastly, you can imagine you're a leaf shining up to the sun. Oh, fantastic. And on that branch, you might see a nest. Let's make your nest. And what's in your nest? Might be a baby bird or some eggs, staying safe and waiting for their mummy. And you can curl up in your nest. I am safe. Beautiful. Well done. You can open your eyes and sit tall because you know what? We're going to read a story. Are you ready? Oh, we have a good one here. So sit tall and listen. This is a story about Vixen, who lives in the forest. Vixen sat at the head of the round table as always. We all know Vixen is a fox. They were all in agreement on this one thing anyway. They had to do something. You see, the animals of the woodland had felt funny for a while now, and not the belly wobble kind of funny. Funny as in there was a strange energy around. Things didn't feel right. And you know what? Nobody knew why. Vixen, intelligent and gracious as always, stretched her body out. So let's stretch out like Vixen. Arms out in front. Curl the toes under and lift your hips high. Great. She knew she needed to take some time. She sat under the old aspen tree. She listened to the wind rustle its leaves and sway its branches. Closing her eyes, she took 3 deep breaths. So let's sit like Vixen under the tall aspen tree and take 3 deep breaths. Ready? Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. 1. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. 2. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. 3. Fabulous. Vixen quietened her mind and she meditated. She closed her eyes and sat still and meditated. After some time, it came to her, a glorious song. Would you like to hear the song? Yeah? Hear the beat of the forest drum. Wow. On hearing this song, Vixen knew exactly what she was to do. Vixen, saying goodbye to Fox and their cubs. Beside her was Fox's loyal friend Badger and her own bestie Lady Cat. They decided to head off to chat with the locals. Lady Cat led, bossy as always. Badger followed, and Vixen lastly. So let's go. Lady Cat, meow, Badger, and Vixen. Fabulous. Sit back down. They met Hare, who lives in Wobbleland. I tell you, Hare was in an awful state. I'm so nervous, and I haven't a notion why, Hare explained to Vixen. Hare, sit as you've always done. Take 3 deep breaths and listen. So let's sit like Hare. Legs wide apart, sit back on your heels and head down in hare pose and take 3 deep breaths. 1, 2, 3. And come on back up. And you know what Hare heard? Ah, ooh, hear the beat of the forest drum. Hare smiled. Thank you, Vixen. That was so simple. High fives all around, and they went on their way. So Lady Cat went first. Badger followed. And lastly, Vixen. And off they went. Down by the stream, they met Frog. Green and confused, he looked around as if he was searching for something, but hadn't a clue what. Lady Cat spoke after learning from Vixen, but maybe not so eloquently. Frog, what are you like? Getting yourself in such a state, will you just sit down there as you've always done? Take 3 deep breaths and listen, she said, rolling her eyes. Let's sit like Frog, legs out, wide. Take 3 deep breaths. 1, 2, 3. And guess what Frog heard? Ah, ooh, hear the beat of the forest drum. Frog could feel the beat of nature in his heart, and the wind that blew through the trees cleared the fog that had once confused him. Oh, Lady Cat, how can I thank you? Oh, let's not get too mushy, Frog. The answer was there in front of you all along anyway, she shrugged. They got moving on again. First, Lady Cat led. Meow. Badger second. And lastly, Fox. The journey continued. The 3 met many of the woodland residents along the way. They met Red Squirrel hiding in her dray. Sit like our squirrel, legs wide apart, 1 arm up. Take a deep breath in, like squirrel, and other side. Very good, and they showed Squirrel how to relax. Next, they met Fawn Log, who had her long tail in a twist. So let's stand like Fawn Log or Swallow. Press into your foot, let the other leg come up behind, and take a deep breath in. And fly the other way. Breathing and out. Fantastic. And Fawn Log began to calm down. Stoat, who was crazy with power, he began to mellow. So let's stand like Stoat. Other side. Very good. Stay standing. Stag, who lay in a heap by the bluebells, stood tall with pride. Let's stand like stag, legs wide. Very proud, standing tall. Other side. Very good. Hedgehog, who felt prickly as his spikes felt the tension ease. So let's do a head jog. And tuck your head in and make yourself small like prickly hedgehog. Who's next? Pygmy Shrew now found a way to unwind and curled up in a little ball. And don't forget to breathe. Very good. Soon enough, the clarity and peace had returned to the forest residents, and that funny energy had lifted. Quite delighted with themselves, Lady Cat, followed by Badger, then Vixen, headed for home. First Lady Cat, followed by Badger, and lastly Vixen. Off they went. It was dark now, and the crescent moon glowed bright in the night sky. Vixen sat at the head of the table, putting her feet up and relaxing with a cup of tea. She wrote in her journal all the lessons she had learned today and hoped to share it with the kids or with the cubs someday, so they too will remember. Listen to nature, breathe deeply, and remember your true self. Do this and you can get yourself out of any sort of uncomfortable feeling. Vixen stretched out, feeling tired, and lay herself down. Now this is a time that you can grab your blanket and lie down on your back. Vixen made herself nice and cozy to sink down into a deep sleep. She took a deep few breaths here. In and out, and closed her eyes and allowed her thoughts to settle. And guess what she heard? Nothing. She was fast asleep. Now I invite you, children and mums and dads, to stay lying on your back, on your yoga mat. Get nice and cozy under your blanket, and if you have an eye pillow, to place it over your eyes and make yourself as cozy as possible, allowing your body to sink into the mat below. And using your imagination, I invite you now to imagine that your yoga mat has turned into a magic carpet. And allow your magic carpet to lift you up out of the room you're in, up into the sky, up into the clouds, until you see a beautiful forest. And your magic carpet lands in the forest. You look around, what colours do you see? What smells do you smell? What do you hear? You stand up and begin to walk around this beautiful forest. And you're drawn towards a green leaf. It sparkles a bit, so you walk closer and take a look. And you notice sitting on the leaf is a little fairy. The fairy is so happy to see you. You can ask the fairy her name if you like. Or maybe your fairy's a boy fairy. You can ask his name. Listen to what the fairy has to say. Is there anything you might like to ask the fairy? The fairy has a message for you. The fairy invites you to visit the forest and visit nature and asks you to do a special favour, to look after nature, to mind it. That would make the fairy very happy. And by doing so, the fairy grants you a wish. Tell the fairy now, what do you wish for? And hopefully it comes true. For now, it's time to wish the fairy goodbye. Say goodbye to the forest, take one final look around, and come back onto your magic carpet, lying down. And your magic carpet lifts out of the forest, back up into the sky, and back into your room, onto your yoga mat, back into this space. And as you take a breath in, take a morning stretch, so arms up and stretch your toes away, and give yourself a big hug. And slowly come up to seated, sitting tall. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed yoga class today.